This is the video for lesson 6 found in the Mayron piano method, older beginner level 1, which encompasses pages 41 to 47. In this lesson, we're actually going to start off with Autumn Bells here, and we do have the video for that song linked in the description below. So we'll talk about everything, how to play the song down there. Then next, we have a worksheet here that starts off with, for our next song, Blue Skies and Gray Skies, as well as Country Morning. So in Blue Skies and Gray Skies, we're going to introduce finger numbers. So we're going to start numbering our fingers here, and you'll see those in the songs as well as you start to play them now and throughout the rest of the method as well. So if you notice here, I'm going to grab my pen. Why don't you take a look at where the numbers are? So if you notice, we start off with 1, and each of our hands have 5 fingers. So we're going to go up to 5. But if you notice, both of our thumbs are labeled 1. Pointer fingers, ooh, I did the wrong thing. Pointer fingers are going to be number 2s. Then we go up to 3s. Middle fingers are 3s. Then we go to our ring fingers. So that's why there's little, if you could see them, little things there on the fingers, those are rings to remind you that those are the ring fingers 4, and then the pinkies are 5. So if we come out here, thumbs are 1, pointers are 2, middles are 3, rings are 4, and pinkies are 5. In the worksheet, the book here is going to ask you to write in those finger numbers. You can basically copy them from over here and write them in. So it's going to ask you to write those in over here. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the rest of the worksheet here. So from here, you can go ahead and pause if you'd like to before we start writing in our answers, or you can fill them in as we go along. So I'm going to get a good point there. There we go. I'm going to change my pen here real quick. Go to that one. There we go. Okay, so now move that down there. We're going to take a look at that. There are many E flats in Blue Skies and Gray Skies. A flat sign tells you to go, and it's a little B. So we have a trick where since it looks like a B, that stands for backward. So I'm just going to write back right here for time, but remember it's backwards. All right. Next, ritardando is an Italian word that means to gradually play slower. Ritardando may be abbreviated as RIT. So R-I-T, anytime you see an R-I-T in your song, that means to gradually slow down. Next, the dot with the curve over it, this is a pedal mark or fermata. Say fermata. So I'm going to write F-E-R-M. Again, abbreviate. So you can save a little time. I'm going to write an A. Oh, I'll write the whole word right here. So fermata. Next, a good pianist always counts the rhythm correctly. Be a little weird if you didn't count that correctly, if you counted it incorrectly. So correctly right here. Next, ooh. Finish the word before we move on here. Next, middle C is a floater note because it floats between the 2 staffs. The 2 staffs. Boom, there we go. Whoop, there it is. All right, always sit with your nose in front of middle C or middle F. That's going to be middle C right there. All right, you can go ahead and pause, copy the answers into your book, but I'll go ahead and clear out the answers, and then we're going to go ahead and move on. So next in the book, we're going to go over Blue Skies and Gray Skies. This is where we're going to introduce finger numbers, and then the E flat comes back. So don't forget about that. And then also, we have the ritardando right here. So you can watch the video of this one, which is going to be linked in the description below as well. And then next, we also have Country Morning. We do have that video linked in the description as well. And then now we're going to be introducing a new note to you today, which is also going to be in the bass clef. So now we're going to start going a little bit backwards here, and we're going to go to the B. So this is what we call bass clef B. There's my words. So bass clef Bs. I also have a saying for bass clef B, which goes bass B sits his big bottom on the bass staff. So think of all those Bs. Bass B sits his big bottom on the bass staff. So B is going to be right next to C. So middle C, and B right there. All right, so then down here, what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom out so we can see a little bit more of that. What we're going to do, we're going to draw our lines and then fill in our letters. So let's draw our lines first. This first one's going to be B, since it's sitting on top of the base staff. Then we have C, and then B again, connect that on over. And then next is G, and then we have D. So notice we didn't have any E's or F's there. All right, let's go ahead and fill in these names here. So first we said B, and next we have C, and then we have B, and then we have G, and then we have D. Okay, feel free to pause the video right there if you want to copy the answers, but we're going to go ahead and move on from here. Next, let's go ahead. Back to BC is going to be our next song. We do have another video of that. That is, again, linked in the description below. All it is B or C and B. It goes back and forth just like that. So remember, C is going to be your floater note in that song. Next up is going to be our worksheet for Skip to My Lou. We're going to be reviewing a little bit of rhythm. So Skip to My Lou introduces the 2/4 time signature. So we're still going to have our quarter note as the beat, but now we're only going to have the space of 2 quarter notes in each measure. So top one, we're going to go ahead and just talk about these here. We won't write them in, but if you want to, that's totally okay. Top number tells us, in the time signature tells us how many beats will be in each measure. And the bottom number tells you that what type of note receives 1 beat. So remember, the 4 equals quarter note. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come down here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can get both of these done here. We're going to take a look at this portion of rhythm up here in the middle of the page first. So remember, we got 2 quarter notes before we go on to the next measure. So we got 2 quarter notes here. I'm going to draw my line. And then we got a quarter note and then 2 eighth notes. So remember, 2 eighth notes equals 1 beat. So we're going to put our line right there. Then we have a half note. So half note's 2 beats. It's going to sit in its own measure. 2 eighth notes are 2 sets of 2 eighth notes. Remember, 2 eighth notes are 1 beat. So we're going to draw a line right there. And there we go. And then it doesn't ask us to write in counts. If you want to do that on your own, you can, but we're going to go ahead and move on from that. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Do You Know section. So letter A is the sharp. So we're going to write in number 5 and cross that out so we know we've marked it. B is the 2 half notes. So that's number 7. Cross that off. C is going to be the whole note. It looks like the donut. So it's number 8. D, circle on the stick, fill in circle on the stick, which is your quarter note, which is 1. E, circle on the stick with the dot. Look for the dotted half note. That's 3. Circle on the stick, half note, which is going to be 2. G, flat sign, number 6. Last but not least, what's not marked off? Number 4. Whoop, there we go. All right. So feel free to pause there and fill in those answers, but we're going to go ahead and move on. Next, what we're going to look at, we're going to finish off with Skip to My Lou here. So we do have the song, the video for that song linked below in the description. But that is the end of lesson 6 of the Mayron Older Beginner level 1. Feel free to rewind and review any material that you would like to, or if you need to go back and look at something else. But that is the end of the video here for lesson 6.